Now, this second chant is actually a protection. And my Sufi mother mentioned to me that there's a very similar, super closely related, incantation also in Islam of protection, of setting protection in the 4 directions. That's what you're saying when you say Ad Garaname, Jagad Garaname, Sat Garaname, Siri Gurude Vename. You're sending it, to either side, the right way. You're bowing to this wisdom that has always existed, back infinitely into time and forward, and into your future. So it is a secondary chant that we start with. And just to start with a few basics for practice, posture is really important. So we talk about these things called the buns, and they're basically these blocks in the body that you engage so that you are in a yogic form. So it's not to kind of look cool, as my teacher has shared with me. It's really about the science of the practice. You want the energy to move, and to assist this process, you want a certain type of engagement as a yogi. So there's something called a glandular bun, which is actually the chin just slightly tips down. No, you're not going to be like, bowing forward. Let me move sideways so you can see. You're not going to be bowing forward, but there's going to be just like a slight lock so that this area of the spine is straight. It's my meditation bell. So there's a slight tuck of the chin, and it creates a straightening of the spine at the back of the neck. So it's a really important thing to practice. Remember in your practice. As you're engaging all these movements, it's easy to start sticking your chin out, and then you're really creating, like they would say in circuitry, you're like messing with the closed circuit there. You really want to keep the circuits connected, open, and flowing. So there's a slight lock of the chin, and then there's something called a mula band, which is like a root lock. So I'm going to show you that standing up. There we go. So I think the best way to show a mula band is to show sway back. So that's sway back. And a mula band is when you actually just tuck under, and it creates this almost like a tilting of the pelvis. And again, it's to just create the straightening of the spine at the root. It serves that purpose, but it serves another purpose that's really important. As you're engaging the root lock, something that Kundalini teachers often say is rectal, sex organ, navel. So there is like this pulling in and pulling up of this lower triangle of your chakra system. You're just trying to help to engage the energy. Now, the premise is that we live in a world with a gravitational field. So by default, your energy is actually accumulating into your lower chakras. So when you're doing these energy practices, which are really pranically based, and you're using the breath work to help to uncoil the Kundalini energy, you really want to assist the process. And the mula band is one of the ways that you do that. So there's this inward pull of the navel, which I will actually at a later point show you. There's actually this breath called breath of fire, and what you do is you activate the navel. So it's like a dog pant. You go, but you do it with your nose. So it's, and you should notice if you're doing it right by this movement of the navel, like. Something that a teacher once told me that I really appreciated is don't jerk your navel unless you want to be a jerk. So, though you're moving your navel, there is this paradox in that it's a movement that's not a jerking. So you just work with it, don't overthink it, but these are some good things to remember. This is a good video to reference as you continue your practice. So there's the buns and there's the Maha Bund, you know, where you really create this straight yogic form. And you know, if you've ever done any form of yoga, there's this emphasis on heart opening. So it basically means, let me sit sideways. It basically means don't sit like this. Sit, you know, shoulders back, heart open, you know, slight lock in the chin. And what you're doing is you're creating this receptive field for your energy. And so it's with those locks that I'll go on to share a little bit about some of the other meditative focuses of the practice. So another thing that it's important to remember when you're practicing Kundalini is mantra and eye gaze. So we'll start with eye gaze. So unless otherwise specified in a practice, you are going to take the gaze of your eyes, you're going to take your optic nerve and you're going to focus it on your third eye point, which this actually helps to secrete your pineal and pituitary glands. So, and also to direct the energy upward to your higher chakras. So it's important to remember as you're practicing that you are going to look up and in at your third eye point to assist the prana. The other thing is, whatever the breathing, the mantra. So another thing to remember is Kundalini is full of mantras. I love it. It's a science. There's all these different parts. It's like a formula. So again, you're going to get specific exercises that come with specific mantras and specific eye gazes. And there's so many. But the default, if you are just doing any practice and nothing's been specified, is to chant Sat Nam. And now this is a silent chant. It happens within yourself. You're going to chant on the inhale Sat, which means truth. And you're going to chant on the exhale Nam, which means identity. Truth is my identity. So you inhale Sat, exhale Nam. Inhale Sat, exhale Nam. Eyes focused up. Connecting the buns. Now, one of the best things I was ever told by my teacher, Jai Dev Singh, was you're going to get out of it what you put into it. So if you're going to kind of have, then that is, you know, going to dictate how much energy you're going to generate through your practice. But if you, you know, hold tight to your determination and just, you know, power through it, you're going to really reap benefits in your life. Kundalini is a practice that happens on the mat but reverberates into every aspect of your life. So I really wish for you an amazing practice, and I pray for you an amazing life, and may the blessings of this practice touch every being. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu.